Hello friends and welcome back to my channel. So this reading is for the Emperor or a Emperor, whoever identifies with Emperor energy. It's typically Aries or Taurus, but it doesn't have to be. It also symbolizes, it can be like a CEO, the leader of a company, the head of the family, a father figure, someone who's kind of parental, also somebody who's stepping up into the energy of all four kings of the tarot and really taking ownership and control and kind of like actively doing things in their life. So a couple of different things that it could be. This particular emperor from the Witch's Tarot, he's very fatherly, right? He really shows that kind of, even though he's he's an emperor, he's in full armor, he's got responsibilities, he's got things to do. It's like he is keeping an eye on the kids. So we could be talking about somebody who's a single parent, perhaps, or somebody who is looking after children in some sort of way. I'm really getting brother and sister through because I did meditate on this, and a kind of brother and sister kind of energy was coming through with that as well. So yeah, this kind of like father watching over you energy. I'm also noticing that they're playing by a lake. This did also come through in meditation. The way it was coming through, I'm just gonna, sorry, I've got my coffee in my hand. Let me just have some. Oh, okay. The way it was coming through was like, the father has to go for a meeting, was the way it was coming through. And it was like they have to go and meet with the council. So this seems to me, it's like, even though it's the king of earth, right, it's coming through as an aspect of the emperor, because he's all four kings. It's like this is one of his dynamics, this is one of his responsibilities, to be a father, to be somebody who deals with practical things. He doesn't have to be a father, by the way. I'm just giving you examples. It doesn't even have to be a guy. Like, it can be like women can step into emperor energy as well, right? It's just energy. It's not a gender. So or it's not a sex, I should say. So, but it's coming through as the emperor. I'm going to say he, but just flip it and reverse it if needs be. So it's like the emperor has a responsibility. So it's like, I just need to go and do some work, right? Maybe this emperor is working from home. I was kind of getting like a cabin by a lake, but it doesn't have to be that. Again, it's could just be symbolic for somebody, or an indicator or something like that. But it's like, I have to go and do some work now. I have to go and take care of practical matters. So it could even be, if this is a single father, this is like, right, I'm just going to go and put some laundry through, or I'm just going to go and, start chopping some food for tea. So it's like, I'm going to go and do something to do with my responsibilities. But he also seems to be meeting with this council, right? So it's, the way it's coming through is like, so the emperor is like going indoors, right, to do this job, to have this meeting, to talk to these advisors or something like this. And in doing so, he's left his children out by the lake. So that is a worry to me. It's like, or he's left his children outside playing, right? So obviously, if you just be really super duper careful with children around water, because especially younger children, you do need to kind of keep an eye on them and not get distracted by work and things like that. So that could just be a little warning for somebody, perhaps. And it was coming through in the meditation with like, I was a little boy, and it was like my father grabbed me kind of by the wrist or by the left hand, sort of like this, and kind of like took me down to the edge of the water, where he was showing me the ropes. This could be something as well, because this was also coming through with, it could be like, this is somebody who's in King of Earth energy. So again, it's Taurus energy. It doesn't have to be, but it could be a father, a husband, right? Somebody who's responsible for things. And it's like, this is his father, because the emperor is always a level up kind of in age or experience. So it could be father and son as well. So yeah, it was like, and this isn't the first time this metaphor has come through, so I don't know who it's for. I did ask my own dad. I was like, Dad, because he used to go sailing. I was like, Dad, did my grandpa teach you how to sail? And he said, no, it was a friend of mine. My grandpa was actually afraid of water, apparently. My family have a long history of boats, boat problems. So that's the thing. So yeah, sorry, they're just telling me something else, but it's personal, so I'll leave that one. So yeah, so I was like, right, it's not a message for my dad, it's a message for somebody, right? And it's come through again in this reading, this idea of like, the father leading me by the hand, right? And showing me the ropes. It's like teaching me how to tie knots, right? So, but in doing so, it was almost as though, and I'm not sure about this, it was almost as though I had a rope around my wrist and a rope around an oar, right? So it's like, you're not going to lose the oar because it's tied to your wrist. So there could be some kind of metaphorical lesson being taught there about not losing things, or even like learning how to let go, right? Because we have letting go here. It's like being tied to something, so how do you let go of it, or being shown the ropes. There's something to do with like parents there, like father and son type things. So it's like the son was down by the lakeside learning to tie knots, right? And the girl's getting more curious. So the way it's coming through is I'm going to kind of run through all the cards, but just they're a little bit scattered. So again, with the meditation, it's like multiple messages coming through. So it's like the father goes in, right? The father goes in to speak to the board, right? To do a Zoom call, to consult. It could even be people turning up, right? So, you know, a local community group showing up and saying, hey, can we just have a quick word with you about something, right? So it's like they're going, having this meeting. And in doing so, like, while it feels a little bit secret, again, definitely with that reading that I did, I actually did it yesterday, I posted it earlier today, about having a father who was part of some kind of secret group. So it was coming through in that reading as like, you know, signing the Official Secrets Act, or being part of the Ministry of Defence or something like that, or being, you know, having to say, you know, having some kind of contractual or legal agreement where it's like you can't talk about that. That's kind of like, you know, secret military stuff. So it came through like that, right, in yesterday's reading. Today's coming through more like, especially with deep quiet as well, right? So today, with this Andean cross, it's coming through as a guild. Now, since yesterday, I started to get a lot of stuff about guilds. So I went for a walk around a graveyard. I know it sounds morbid, but I find them very beautiful places, because it's like, it shows that people were loved, right? So for me, it's not a place of sadness and grief and mourning. It's a place of love and remembrance and respect, and, you know, family trees and things like that. So I have a different, it's not Buffy the Vampire Slayer for me, right? But I was kind of wandering around the graveyard just because I think it's a very beautiful place, full of memories, right? And looking at the gravestones and looking at the variety and looking at the symbols on them. And so some of them have different symbols to signify different things. You know, you know, for example, there was one there where somebody was a member of the police service, so they had the police crest on theirs. But there's also different symbols to indicate different religious beliefs, or different groups or churches that people were part of, or you know, that kind of personalization of this is who I was. So it's coming through with this kind of like, the conversation kind of moved towards, you know, the stone cutters, and some of the more beautiful older gravestones that were kind of like, they had statues carved out of them. There was this brilliant one actually, and it was a wooden cross, and it looked so much like wood, but it was stone, and it was incredible. I was like, I could have been convinced that that was actual real wood, but it's not, it's stone. I went and touched it and I was like, it's stone. And it even had like moss growing on it as well, which just really added to the effect of it looking like two trunks of a tree put together. So the artistry, right, the expertise, the skill of ancient, I'm going to say masons, because that's what they were, right? The masons were stone cutters. So like the skill of that guild, the skill of that group who had that expert knowledge in how to create these wonderful, very ornate stone statues, or even like buildings, right? If you look at old buildings and the detail that they have with that. And so this is actually like a dying skill, because if you look at the modern gravestones, they're often marble, not stone. So it's like they're made out of a fancier, more expensive material, but they tend to be cut with like lasers and things. You know, the words, the inscriptions are cut with lasers rather than like the chisel. So it's like you know, a computer and a laser. It's less skilled, right? So not to say that it's not skilled, obviously. I don't want to kind of undermine anyone who's kind of in that business, but this kind of dying art of the old skills, right? And how like these kind of guilds keep them alive. So it was coming through with how I was watching a documentary or a news article once about one of these really old kind of cathedrals in England, and how it was kind of falling into disrepair. So they had to go to this real like specialist. It was like a house of stonemasons, right? It was like a teaching school of stonemasons, and it's really a very, very it's a very rare skill to have those kind of old restorative skills, right? To be able to replace pieces of this stone using the same methods. So there's a message coming through with just because somebody's part of one of these groups, it doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. So I was also thinking about when I was a child, and I'm going to be very, very careful about how much I say about this, but when I was a child, we had where I lived, we had a meeting room that people could hire out, and there was a kind of one of these groups that would go and have these secret meetings, and it was very behind closed doors, but it was very, very from what I do understand of it, it was kind of like it was like a council, right? It was like men as well. It was all men who would meet, and I believe they would work out like they'd raise money. I believe, again, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe they'd like raise money for certain groups and like help out people, right? So it's like helping out the families of each other. Yeah, it's like, okay, one person struggling, we all raise money and help out that one person. So it wasn't a bad thing. And again, I was a little girl and I was often alone around like these men coming and going, having this meeting in this meeting room. And there was nothing untowards happening there. Like, do you know what I mean? It's like there was no bad experience there. So just because somebody is a member of a group, and just because it could be a secret group, it doesn't necessarily mean it's underhand in any sort of way, is the message that's coming through there. And again, like these days it's not the done thing to have like a men's group and a women's group, right? It's seen as like sexist. So you But I do want to say I can understand in some circumstances why it would be helpful or necessary to have gendered groups. And again, this is I'm saying this with a lot of caution and a lot of self-awareness, because what I'm trying to say is you could have, especially for older generations, I want to say as well, it's like I know that when I go into work and I have girly conversations with the girls in work, they understand because they also have those experiences. They understand because it's, direct experience, where I can talk to men, partners, like friends, male friends and stuff about these things. And like, yes, I said partners plural. I don't have multiple partners. Like that came out wrong. But like family, right? And they can sympathize and they can understand, right? And they can listen, but because they've not had the direct experience of having, I don't know, a uterus, ovaries, hormones, boobs, sometimes they don't understand on quite the same level. So it's not that they're not supportive, it's that there may be, sometimes you have to talk to people who have direct experience. So on the flip side of that, like also having, I could see situations where men would find a lot of comfort and a lot of support in a group of men, right? So it's like because again, like the shared experiences of, and it could be again, like in yesterday's reading, it was coming through with men who've been in the army, right, together, and perhaps in a men's regiment or something. It's like the experiences of that. You want to be able to talk to people who have been through the same stuff, especially in terms of like I don't know, like trauma, right? Not trauma bonding, but like trauma, like the understanding of that. And the understanding, perhaps, especially again, not talking so much about modern day, but like if you have a father or if you have somebody of the older generation where gender roles were more defined and were more the expectations on each gender would be much more kind of controlled and rigid, you know, women with housemakers, men with the breadwinners, winners, if you're talking about those older generations. So it's like also things about, you know, big girls don't cry kind of thing. That's actually the song that came through for the reading. Don't Cry by Daisy Gray. So it's like, you know, even stiff upper lip and kind of those army things of, you know, you're feeling stuff, but you don't talk about it. You know, you're going through stuff. You hear this all the time. If you look at ex-military, you hear them say this all the time. We just didn't talk about it, right? We were going through some stuff, but it was like an unspoken rule. You just don't talk about it. You know, I've heard people in the SAS saying these kind of things. You know, when you read the books or see them on the TV and that kind of thing. So, and that's not very good for emotions. So it could be that there could be groups where, yes, it's men, or yes, it's women, and yes, it's gendered. But if it's supportive to people who have been through something and had some kind of shared experience, then it could be allowed. So I want to say there's a resistance to this, I think, in popular culture these days, because if you look at, for example, the remake of the film The Craft, so that 90s movie about witches, if you watch the remake, David Duchovny actually plays a character who has one of these male support groups, and it is depicted as a very negative thing in that program, but I want to say it doesn't necessarily have to be, right? I just think the modern, especially because of things like the Bullingdon Club, right? The Tory party we were all part of in university. You know, there is a lot of, you know, bad taste in our mouths when we think of these kind of, these guilds or these clubs and, you know, behind closed doors, secret society, Illuminati type stuff. But it doesn't, like, just because one is bad doesn't mean they're all bad. And, you know, some of them could just be stone crafters, right? Some of them could just be showing some kind of skill. So again, if we're talking about that reading that came through yesterday about you know, maybe a father passing away and going through his things and then finding evidence that he's part of some kind of secret society, and it being maybe having that moment of panic. What does this mean? Was my father a terrible person? Was he like these characters in the movies that are the bad guys because they're covering things up? Not necessarily, I want to say. So don't jump to conclusions with that. Is the message that's coming through today. Oh, okay, right. Okay. Like, so growth and plants. So you can really see here my crow feather is wanting to be seen, so that could be a message for somebody, especially because there's feathers here in these cards. So this is coming through as the same energy to me, this kind of very grounded, very rooted man who's perhaps of the earth. Again, somebody, maybe like somebody who does survival, right? They know how to live off the land, they know how to forage, they know how to hunt, even perhaps they know how to live off the land, right? And live off the survival instincts. So very, I want to say very connected to nature in a kind of survivalist kind of way, very rooted, very grounded, very earthy, very dependable, very perhaps business-like, you know, practical. This isn't somebody who's necessarily a dreamer. This is somebody who's you know, there's work to do, let's get the work done, right? Kind of energy. And there's also, you can see really clearly as well, like, again, this is genuinely the way everything came out. I didn't set anything up, but you can see as well how they both have these, this, you know, the antlers, the kind of antler tree analogy here. So this always talks to me about opening up your crown chakra, reaching up to receive the higher messages. So it does feel like somebody could be experiencing some sort of awakening. Perhaps they do get messages from the universe, from God, through nature. You know, this is how they receive the downloads, the direction. Perhaps they do spend a lot of time perhaps going for walks in the woods, because it helps to ground them. It helps them to balance themselves out emotionally. Perhaps it helps them to connect to you know, animals and nature spirits in a way that's kind of very grounded. So I get this as well. Sometimes if I get very overwhelmed with the messages that are coming through, or I just get a lot of anxiety, or I feel stressed or over emotional, if there's anything going on where I feel that imbalance, it's really healthy for me to just go out for a big walk, and especially around trees, and I listen to my music and I come back and I feel grounded and stable again. Like, that is one of my things that I do. So again, this is something that this person could do. So, you know, this is somebody who's very grounded, very rooted, very grounded, 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 very ground it does feel like there definitely is some kind of because it's like antennas, right? It's like this is how they communicate. So again, it could be some kind of guardian angel, right? Or the council of angels who are on the other side, or our ancestors who've passed over, right? So it has that feeling of like walking it in the woods and trying to connect to God, to your angels, to your spirit guides, to your ancestors on the other side, to nature spirits, right? It could be many different things, but it's like this council of advisors who seem to be quite angelic, right? They seem to be having some sort of meeting. Now, I want to say as well, if this isn't somebody who's like actually practically there, it's almost like being able to, even if this is someone who's living, right, but they're not, like, it's like I don't know who this is. I don't know who this is, and whether this is somebody who's who's literally in the environment. I don't know if it's somebody who's perhaps connecting from a distance, maybe even just like telephone or internet, or astrally projecting, because we have this card here as well, and some of the other cards as well. So it looks like perhaps like an astral, like a psychic link between the two, especially with the antennae, right? So like a psychic connection between the King of Earth and the Council. So it could be that there's more than one person, but this is the representative coming through, right? It's like one figurehead or one person doing the messaging. So if it was a case of perhaps this person needing to ground, needing to meditate, needing to do whatever they do to kind of seek that higher wisdom, like to connect to the energy of the council, right? It's it could be very private for them. So I know, like, when I meditate, I do like to kind of, everybody to kind of leave me alone, and I kind of like go into my own space, and that's how I connect, right? So it's like you don't want anyone to, when you're in meditation, when you're receiving downloads, when you're kind of connected up to the universe, when you're doing this tree energy, you really don't want interruptions. So you don't want your phone pinging, you don't want people coming in and out of the room, right? You don't want people watching you. It is a private practice. So it feels like, again, just to kind of show you these meditation and stillness, right? It's like that's when you receive the messages. That's when your crown chakra opens up. That's when out of nothing you start to, this creature that you're, or this energy that you're connecting with, starts to manifest, right? You start to see it. So it could be even seeing something in your mind's eye. So for example, I've been thinking about my nana a lot. She passed away last week, and even before she passed away, I was still trying to connect with her on this kind of spiritual psychic level, because she was kind of a bit locked in as well at the end of her life. She was, she couldn't respond very easily. Very, very difficult for her to communicate. So I sought a different method, right? I tried to communicate with her energetically, with her soul, with her psyche, and it was working quite well for me, I have to say. Needing the quiet, right? Needing the meditative space to do that. And it's like, as this image in your mind's eye kind of starts to take form, right? As it starts to, because just look at these two cards, it's like as it manifests, right? As it starts to come into focus, like then this interruption happens. So treasures hidden in the shadows, right? So this kind of secret connection to a higher source of advice, perhaps. Deep quiet that comes in meditation and stillness. And then even this card as well, it says letting go, but again, it's more about the visual for me today, because it's like even like as you meditate, it's like you start to fade into your surroundings. You start to become one with nature, like one with the trees, right? You start to again, I was talking about this in the reading yesterday about the cobweb, right? And when I meditate, I visualize myself as a tree. A lot of you will already know this. So I start with an energetic seed inside my chest, inside my heart chakra. It's bright white light energy, which is universal love, right? Creation energy, God energy, my own soul. And then I imagine it kind of growing roots and growing branches, and it runs down through my body, out through the soles of my feet, into the earth like roots, and up out of my crown, and it branches out up into the sky, into the stars, into the sun. I've been working a lot with the sun and Venus energy, very, very strongly with the sun energy and a little bit Venus energy as well. Just energy work that I've been doing. And it was fascinating to me. I was watching Bommy Spirit, she's called Bommy Spirit, her air sign reading, and straight away she was like, I'm getting the sun, because I'm an air sign, I'm Libra. She was like, I'm getting the sun and I'm getting Venus together. And I was like, yeah, that's what I've been doing. Hi, it's me. That's my energy. But again, obviously we're a collective, so there's probably a lot of Libras who are connecting to sun and Venus energy at this time. And yeah, pulling that in, right? Pulling that source energy, that creation energy, that God energy, pulling it in, drawing it down through my branches, like how a tree will soak up the sunlight, right, in order to have that growth. Okay. And not just for me though, like injecting it into the soil, injecting it into the earth, passing it to the heart chakra of people around me who I feel may need that, just that sunshine in the heart energy, right? Just that boost of energy, or just that boost of, you know, you are safe, you are loved, you are supported, everything's going to be fine. Just sending that like God love energy out to people. Again, I'm not particularly religious. I wouldn't say I'm follow any religion. I kind of believe everything is one big thing, unity consciousness, but there we are. So that's kind of what it feels like. It's like as you connect, right, and it does have this fading in and out energy of like moving from one space to another, or one realm to another. So my consciousness will expand, and I can extend my consciousness. I know that it makes me sound crazy. Listen, you don't need to lock me up. I'm fine. I am fine. But like my consciousness will expand into the trees, like out of my roots, into the roots of the trees, up the trees, like to the animals, to the plants, to the insects, to the earth, to the sun, to the leaves, to the stars. Like I expand my energy out into those networks. Okay, to connect. So I become the tree, I become part of nature, very much like the visual of this card, right? So again, it's like this connection. It could be, again, take gender out of it, it could be the same person, it could be two people connecting. So like letting go, like surrender, right? Letting go of control, allowing the messages to come in. And it's like, so it could be, again, here's that sun energy that I've been working with, that pure creation, bright light energy, tapping into that abundant, like never-ending source, right? It's like as you do this, as you touch that energy, it could be that you're interrupted. You know, unexpected visitors, there's a knock on the door, your phone pings, your kid runs into the room. This happens to me all the time. My daughter will barge in and start talking about Stranger Things or something. I'm like, I was meditating. But it's like this interruption or an observation, right? Somebody sees you doing this. It's like, what are they doing? Again, what is my dad doing? So the kid's playing down by the pool, right? The little boy is obsessed with his knots. The little girl is chasing bunny rabbits. The bunny rabbit runs into the house. Oh, this meeting is interrupted. This meeting is observed, right? This meeting is either interrupted or observed, right? So this moment of privacy, of connection, of contacting, you know, the higher council, whatever that is, it's like it's seen, right? So it feels like an interruption. It feels like a break in the connection in some sort of way, just as you reached the highest vibrational frequency, because that's what the sun card is. It's like it's this observation of the girl, of the sister, whatever that means. And then it seems to have this moment of, I don't know, what are you doing? I want more details. I want more information about what you're doing. Again, to me, this is me being around when this group was having this meeting when I was a little girl. And I used to go in the room as well. I would go in the room. All my Barbies would be out all over the tables. I remember sometimes they'd come in and be like, the room's a mess. Barbies everywhere. Can you get the Barbies out? I'm like, okay, I was playing there. I didn't know you were having a meeting, kind of thing. Yeah, they used to sing a song, and the song was up on the wall, like the words to the song. So I'd sit there playing with my Barbies and singing the song, right? I'd learned the words to the song. And so when they were singing it, and I couldn't hear anything, right? I don't know what went on behind that closed door, other than they'd sing this song, right? Because like when you get a big room full of men singing a song, it's pretty loud. So I'd sit there outside and I'd sing along. And they'd come out and be like, were you singing the song? And I was like, yeah. one of us, this little girl. Yeah, and again, just that curiosity, right? And asking questions. I want more details. What do you do in there? What's that thing for? What's that thing for? And then being like, yeah, we're not telling you, it's a secret shop. Like, don't worry about it. It's not for you. So yeah, it could be wanting more details, wanting more information, wanting clarity about what they've seen, what they've witnessed, what they've walked in on. But then there's this empty well, time to replenish. I'm not quite sure what the empty well is saying. Maybe I want to randomize a song for it. Oh no, I did randomize a song for it. Anxiety by Julia Michaels and Selena Gomez. So it could be that somebody has a huge amount of anxiety over either something they've witnessed or something that has been seen, right? It's like, or it could just be when you do energetic work, sometimes it can be extremely tiring, it can be extremely draining. So again, doing readings like this, it can wipe me out. And again, it's like I have to go back out, I have to go among the trees, I have to reconnect with nature to replenish that, those connections, right? To draw the energy back in, because you know, that's if you're working with the energy of the sun, right? If God energy, creation energy, and you're running that through you, it's going to deplete you. We are just humans, right? So it could be talking about the need to have a break, right? Have a break, be on your own for a while, recover, replenish. I don't know, sad embrace as well. I feel like it could just be a message for somebody. It's like, the thing is that they are connected still. This web is still, I don't know if like they're having trouble connecting or something. They're having trouble reaching that energy that they're trying to connect with. Maybe it could be internet problems, right? It could be, you know, again, when I go out for a walk in the trees, there's certain spots where, you know, my Wi-Fi signal, my 4G will go like really, really low. You know, I can walk a little bit further and it'll come back again. So, you know, maybe the signal's down, either internet signal, phone lines are down, not being able to contact somebody, and really worrying about them as well, I want to say, because one of the songs that came through for this was, where is it? Mixed Signals by Robbie Williams. So he's talking about not being able to get in contact with somebody and not understanding what they're saying. So again, it could be something to do with the phone line. What are you saying to me? And then actually having to, I was getting this thing about rushing to somebody's house. So maybe maybe trying to ring your dad and talk to your dad, and it's like, they sound weird on the phone, or you can't tell what they're saying, or, you know, you're trying to ring them but they're not answering, it's been a couple of days. It's like, I need to go and check on them. But it's like this urge to go and rush there, right? This urge to kind of like turn up unexpectedly to check if they're okay. And there's no death card here, but it could be like really welcome, right? It could even be something like being at a distance from your father and just having this sense. I'm hearing bat signal, which is funny because like that applies to my dad. Like just having this sense of like, I'm not sure they're okay. You know, maybe I should check on them. Maybe having a father who's, you know, a bit elderly, you know, who's prone to falling, and being like, I've not heard from them for a couple of days. I'm getting worried. I want to go and check on them. So it's like just having this instinct, right? It's almost this, this knowledge coming into you, like this download to say, check on them, go and check on them. And turning up unexpectedly. But I want to say it's like, even though it's an unexpected visit, it's here with the Sun card, which is the highest vibrational card in the deck. Sorry, there's something about numbers. We've got 19 twice. We've got 11. There's a lot of 40s. 40, 41, 43, 43 twice, 45. 35. Yeah, and if you've seen anything in numbers, that could just be a clarifier for somebody because they're pointing it out to me. So what was I saying? I'm just really distracted by 11 now. Yeah, okay. So it's like, even though it's an unexpected visit, it's like being really, really happy to see this person. It's like opening the door and the sunlight kind of shining in. So it could be a Leo as well, by the way. Sun is Leo. So it's like a really nice surprise, right? Even though it's unexpected, even though it may be inconvenient, it's like really happy to see this person. This person makes you feel warm. This person, you have a lot of love for them. You know, you smile when you see them, that kind of energy. But it could be that even though this person's happy to see you, they could actually be going through they could be going through something, is what I'm saying. So sad embrace, empty well, time to replenish, and details. And the song Anxiety as well, with details and anxiety. It's very Virgo energy. Somebody may have Virgo in the chart, but it's obviously everybody can suffer from anxiety. It's just with details, it feels that kind of anxious, fussy Virgo energy. It's like this person may be going through something. They may be going through a time where they're very anxious, where they're very stressed, where they're feeling very depleted. So even though, yes, they're thankful that you're here, you know, it's, you know, their heart fills with love when they see you. They could just be in a really quiet period, kind of like hermiting, especially with Virgo energy. You know, they are, maybe they're not doing too well, right? But it could actually be perfect that you showed up because, you know, perhaps they've been dealing with things on their own, right? And perhaps they need an embrace. I'm just kind of seeing, like, because this is blue energy with the blue in the middle, and then it's kind of like the gold energy of this person coming to visit. It's like wrapping them, right? It's like, it does feel like embracing them. So if you've ever had that where somebody's been very upset, right? They've been very upset, perhaps embarrassed by their own sadness. You know, they don't want it to be witnessed. They don't want it to be seen. You know, sometimes people can kind of turn in on themselves and, you know, not want to look at you and things. It's like that kind of like wanting to be hidden in this sadness, but especially with the net over them as well. It's almost like, have you ever done that where somebody's been sad and it's like, you know, they need a hug, but they're not, you know that they need a hug, that you know that they need to feel loved, you know that they need that embrace, but they're just not, I don't know, actively asking for it or finding it hard to ask for it or accept it. So it's like you go and you hug them from behind, or you just go and wrap them up in a blanket, right? And it's like, I'm here, it's okay, you know, and that kind of like wrapping this person in warmth kind of energy. You know, your sadness is being witnessed, and that's okay. So then we've got whatever's going on here with this uncertainty. Again, it could be uncertainty of, how do I handle this situation? What do I do? How do I navigate this? It could be somebody who's very overwhelmed with a lot of details. I have to say though, the message that came through for me personally when this card first came out with this Aries energy. Now this Aries energy is like, it was really refreshing to me. So when I first started to connect, when the card first came out and I started to connect with it, I was like, God, this is what I need. Because I'm a Libra. I've got a lot of Libra in my chart, and Libra is notoriously indecisive, right? Toing and froing on the fence, because we like to have all the details, right? It's like, give me all the details. I'm unsure because I need more details. When I have the details, I can process it and I can make a decision. But if I don't know the details, I can't make a decision, right? So Libra can be very, it's like, because they're the scales, right? They're trying to balance both sides. And sometimes I just wish people would make decisions for me. Sometimes I just need the guidance of the Emperor, that kind of Aries energy, because Aries is opposite Libra. So I was really kind of valuing Aries energy at the start of this reading, because sometimes I find Aries a little bit bossy perhaps. And again, Libra's a cardinal sign, so also bossy. But it was like, you know, just needing someone to take charge of the situation, needing someone to make those decisions for you, not wanting to get bogged down by the details. So again, this came out yesterday where, you know, somebody came home like by surprise, and it was like, let's go out and eat something. But then it was like, where do we eat? And I was like, I don't know. I had plans for the day. I can't make the split second decision. Like, you decide, kind of thing. Like, I don't want to have to decide. And then ended up flipping a coin. So maybe that's like flipping a coin, right? To decide, you know, do we go here or do we go there? So, you know, wanting somebody to be like, right, come on, we're going here, you know, like this is what's happening. So the energy when I was pulling the cards out was very decisive. So I was like, right, which, because normally I go deck by deck. I'm like, right, which deck first? Which, I'll get the cards. I'll go, which deck next? I'll get the cards. And it was like, I want this deck. So the Aries energy was like, I want this deck, that deck, that deck, that deck, that deck. So it was very quick and decisive. And I had 6 decks. Like before I even started pulling cards, it was like, these are the decks that the Emperor wants to use. So it was really nice for me because it was like, right, I know what I'm doing, and it was fast, right? So being very time efficient, and it wasn't coming across as being bossy. It was coming across as being assertive, right? It's like it was coming across as, I know what I want. This is what we're doing. Any problems, any questions, right? So it wasn't like we're doing it my way or the highway. It wasn't like that. It was like, this is what I want. Okay, how do you feel about that? So it was just quick, right? There was no wishy-washiness about it, which is refreshing for me. Again, because I know so many Virgos. Virgos are just as oscillating because they have to run through every single detail in the mind, right? And it's like, just me and Virgos, Libras and Virgos, it's like, you'll be there all day. Get an Aries in the mix. And I was hearing, if the Emperor needs your opinion, they will ask for your opinion. Okay. Yeah, and that don't cry, Daisy Gray. It was, I've been hardened like diamonds that money can't buy, right? So the Emperor's made mistakes. The Emperor's made split-second decisions, and some of them have worked out and some of them have failed, but they pick themselves up, they dust themselves off, and they keep going, right? It's like, I'm learning lessons here. If I don't make mistakes, I'm not learning any lessons, I'm not growing. So I was surprised that like the pages didn't come out, because I was getting that energy of like the children, and it's like encouraging people to make mistakes, it's encouraging people to try new things, because you don't have any growth, right? You don't have any growth if you stay in the same pot, like a plant that's in a small pot, right? It doesn't have any growth. You have to put it in a bigger pot to have more growth. It's like you don't know how big you can grow unless you change your pot. Maybe that's a message for somebody, I don't know. So yeah, it was, I don't know, that was that. So then going to this then, it was something like this, especially, it was coming through to me like a basketball hoop, or if you've ever watched the film El Dorado, the game that they play, it's like a soccer game or a football game, and they have to get the ball through the hoop, right? So it's looking to me like a portal or a window of opportunity, or because here it is again, right? The portal. It's like this is the same energy. It's like picking up all these balls and like waiting to kind of like throw them through, kind of like a coconut shy or something as well, like trying to get them through that portal. It's like building, like preparing, right? Collecting them. It could be like as well like a golf course, right? Sometimes people have to go around and collect all the balls. I don't know. I don't know what that is, but it could be something for somebody. I also got in that meditation where it's like I went back to the cabin, right? I returned to the cabin. I went and looked inside. I saw visually a hole in the ceiling and water pouring through. It was like a rainstorm, right? Water pouring through, and it was all over like there was a solid wood floor, and it was like flooded because of this open hole in the ceiling, right? So it's like that's kind of what was. It's kind of shown here as well, like looking up, seeing that hole in the ceiling and like the rain coming through it, right? And it's like having to clean up the mess. Maybe like wet books or something, I don't know. Could be for somebody as well. I did get something else, but I'm not saying it because I don't see the cards for it, but it could come out in another reading. So yeah, that's what we've got. That's what I've got here. Do I have any more songs? Big Bad Wolf by Roses and Revolutions, Pack Your Bags, Run Away. So there could definitely be something about moving very suddenly, packing your bags, because that makes signals. It has the energy of somebody kind of like going to visit someone instinctively with very short notice, right? I think it says like it's 3 a.m. I'm racing across the city or something like that. Pack Your Bags and Run Away is in Big Bad Wolf, Roses and Revolutions. And this Andean cross was clarified by Staring at Your Window with a Suitcase in My Hand by John Bon Jovi. So this thing about suitcases, packing your bags. Oh, there was a bag. When I was in the boat with my hand tied to the oar, I looked down and there was a backpack with like sandwiches or something in. So it was like you hadn't been left there. It was like the Emperor's caring for you, but the Emperor's protecting you by keeping you away from the meeting, is the way it was coming through. So I don't know if that means something to somebody as well. Let's get you a couple of songs on camera. So if this reading is resonating for you, just to kind of show you the evidence there, John Bon Jovi. It's got a bit of a feeling as well of like, should I go in? Should I turn up? Should I knock on the door? Am I right to be here? Staring at your window with anxiety, not sure if I should approach or not. That kind of energy. Like I'm unexpected. I can't, can't get through to them on the phone. They're not answering. I don't want to just turn up. And yeah, that kind of thing. Okay, what needs to be known? So anyone connecting with this reading who's thinking, yeah, this sounds like this could be for me. What needs to be understood? What is the main message that needs to be understood here? God Save Our Young Blood by Bournes and Lana Del Rey. Damn, look at the sunrise. Glowing finish line, made it in record time. Hey baby, we made it. My head's faded, headlights dilated. So again, another reference to cars. John Bon Jovi's in a car on that image. Robbie Williams is talking about racing across the city. My head's faded, headlights dilated, spinning and I can't sit still. Baptized in blue skies, roll down the window, reach out, feel around for new lights. Damn, you and those green eyes, we can never stop moving. We see nothing but green lights. God Save Our Young Blood. Hot pink, wheels in the sun. Young waves in the coast that we love. Climbed up the tree of life, kicked out of paradise, living good. Doing evil is the toss of a dice. Couple of wild eyes, cup full of high life. She's an angel and a devil of her own device, and she's got me spinning. Bright TV ocean, God save the breeze, save the words from my lips, save the birds, save the bees. Baby, save me one last sip while you strip on the beach. I'll save you in the waves if you swim too deep. Yeah, nice song. I don't know, take it if it resonates, leave it if it doesn't. All the songs will be in the description box down below if you want to go and check out the lyrics yourself or have a watch of the videos. Advice, please. The best advice you have for whoever this reading is for. Crush, Dave Matthews Band. Crazy how it feels tonight. Crazy how you make it all right, love. Crush me with the things you do and I'll do anything for you too. Sitting, smoking, feeling high. So you've got 2 songs about being high. I don't know what you'd get up to when you're meditating. And it feels so right in this moment. Lovely lady, I am at your feet. Oh God, I want you so badly. And I wonder this could tomorrow be so... And I wonder this could tomorrow be so wondrous as you there sleeping. Let's go drive. You're thinking about cars again. Let's go drive till the morning comes. Watch the sunrise. Two songs mentioning the sunrise, and fill our souls up. We'll drink some wine till we get drunk. Yeah, it's crazy. I'm thinking, just knowing that the world is round, and here I am dancing on the ground. Am I right side up or upside down? And is this real or am I dreaming? Lovely lady, let me drink you please. I won't spill a drop. It's vampires, guys. I won't spill a drop, no, I promise. Lying under this spell you cast on me. Each moment the more I love you. Crush me, come on. Oh yeah, it's crazy. I'm thinking, just knowing the world is round. Lovely lady, I will treat you sweetly, adore you. I mean, you crush me. And it's times like these when my faith, I'm feeling, I know how much I love you. Come on, baby. It's crazy. Just as long as you're around, I'll be dancing on the ground. Am I right side up or upside down? I mean to tell you all the things I've been thinking deep inside, my friend. Every moment, the more I love you. That's nice, isn't it? All right, so nice end to the reading. That's got me feeling soppy. I hope this reading was really, really helpful for you, and I hope that you get some clarity. So yeah, I'm gonna leave it there. Do take care of yourselves. And I thought I was having a break this week and the messages are coming out thick and fast, but it is what it is. Do take care. I'll see you again soon. Bye, friends.